Pro wrestling talk from the four corners of parts unknown. This is That Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome to That Wrestling Podcast, where none of us will be hugging Roger Goodell this weekend. I don't think so, at least. It's Bryan, Jason, Joe, and Kevin. Fellas, I do have a confession. The secret is out after this past Monday's Raw that I am, in fact, a member of WWE Creative. Let's rewind back 2 shows ago with our 5 count of names for Edge and Damian Priest's new group. Now, of course, Rated R sure got all the laughs. Right?
That was the best one.
But my actual number 1 choice was this. Take a listen. Kevin had variations of this one. Judgment Day. So, whenever they eventually become faces, they can come out on the microphone. They can say Judgment Day is here and the crowd will go nuts. Judgment Day. Well, look at that. So, yeah, I'm a member of WWE Creative. By the way, Joe, all that stuff about Charlotte, that's my bad. All right. That's my bad.
Wait, hold on. How do you see? I don't know if we can believe you. How do we know that you're not working us? They couldn't listen to the podcast. I do know 2 people that work there.
Well, aren't I usually honest with you guys? I'm a straight shooter, hombre.
It's a podcast. Yeah, it's a podcast about pro wrestling. I mean, you could be wooting us right now, and we don't know.
Fair enough.
Spark might be in.
I don't have my Stanford key card, and
you have to level up. That's how you prove it.
Yeah.
You got the Titan Towers card.
We'll try to produce that for next week. Well, what I can produce and what we are all producing is wrestling shirts per usual. With what are you wearing?
What are you wearing? What are you wearing? What are you wearing today? What are you wearing? What are you wearing? What are you wearing today?
All right, I will start. This was not a WWE employee shirt. He's wearing the ECW shirt.
I work at WWE, and all I got is a stupid T-shirt.
I got him that stupid T-shirt.
This is in the bargain basement bin. No one's wearing ECW shirts anymore. No, this was Kevin, and just a reminder, because you guys are more into this than me. But whenever we've been like buying shirts at any time, you're like, the quality of the homage shirts. Kevin, Thank you. It's so good. Good. Who wants to go next? Who's got a shirt?
Listen up, slap nuts. It's simple. Don't piss me off, Bryan, by saying you work at WWE. I'm wearing the Jeff Jarrett, listen up, slap nuts, with yellow sunglasses, not included in the purchase of the shirt. That's what I'm wearing from Pro Wrestling Tees, Jeff Jarrett.
Kevin, you got the Draft Lions hat on your head. What do you got on your torso?
I am dressed up as a jobber today. It's a sad day.
Yes, it is.
Podcast. This is my last shirt winnings from the Royal Rumble bets. I'm wearing the Stars and Stripes challenge shirt with Lex Luger and Yokozuna on it. And Bryan, I agree with you. Homage shirts are H. When you see the H, you know your skin is happy.
You're completely correct.
That should be that should be their marketing campaign.
That's a
maybe
terrible
I'm on their
slogan.
creative.
I know you're out of shirts, but Kevin, maybe we'll call an audible and we'll do picks for NXT Spring Breakin' next week for shirts. No. That's
well,
okay.
We'd have to record early, and we don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's just not going to work. All right, Joe, wrap it up.
Well, this is from the Marchuka crate around Christmas time, and I have now worn this 2 times more than I thought I'd ever wear this shirt. It is Mustafa Ali Chase the Light in the dark shirt. So I was like walking around the house with this thing on earlier, and my wife was like, "You own a Mustafa Ali shirt?" I'm like, "Yes," and I've worn it twice.
Blame Jason.
Yeah. We got plenty of news on him coming up.
It's the same shirt. It's the same shirt that was seen this week. So,
Cut your sleeves off, Joe.
Marchuka Crate 2 update. I've started curating for December. So I found some stuff. Yeah.
Maybe it'll be a Christmas in July edition.
we might be. We could do it. We could do Christmas. I'd be down for Christmas in July.
Christmas
Why not?
in July. Look at that.
What's happening in July that would be important to us?
We'll think about it. Yeah. There might be a couple things on there. Yeah.
My birthday.
All right.
And Brian's.
Yeah.
Only child syndrome. It's
America kind of claimed it first before me, but it's all is this America? All right. So we'll get into more of the specifics of our favorites in our 5 count, but we're going to start off talking about 20 years of Randy Orton. They did the celebration on Raw this Monday night, but let's just have a little round table of just our impressions of Orton's career of now 20 years. Think about just what you felt about how he's been. Maybe where does he rank all time? I mean, if you do this for 20 years, you got to be having a pretty good position, I would think, in something like that. Kevin,
something that I thought about this week was in the hundreds of wrestling t-shirts I own, I have never purchased a Randy Orton t-shirt. The closest I've come, I have a couple Evolution t-shirts, but I've never really been a fan of Randy Orton. Not that he was, he's great. Yeah. He always has been. It's very similar to my I didn't really get into Daniel Bryan. He's another one. Yeah. I never bought a Daniel Bryan shirt because I just wasn't into him. So as far as Monday night, they killed the video package. It was so good.
Yeah.
So good. I have more, but the focus group says I talk too much. So Kevin, what did you think of the segment?
Real quick though, Jay, was it because do you have a fear of snakes? Because a lot of Randy Orton shirts were like vipers, No, okay.
No, I mean the RKO Legend Killer that looked like the NWO shirt might have been the closest, but I'm like, I've got enough NWO shirts. I don't need a Randy Orton shirt. But I mean the Arcade Bro shirts are kind of fun. I almost bought the 421, which doesn't make sense because I don't smoke weed, but that could be one to flip down the road because someone will, it could be a money maker, But again, the focus group said I talked too much. So Kevin, what did you think of the Randy Orton segment?
No, I enjoyed it a lot, and you kind of hit on the point where, not being, guy who didn't have a shirt. Like when I look back on it, I'd say he's in maybe my top. Maybe 25-ish around there, maybe a little less. But the thing with it is he still looks like he's in his 20s. The dude is still shredded. The dude is still 6-pack, no ounce of fat on the guy. And he still can keep it up in the ring, with anybody. The crazy thing, especially at home in the bedroom.
That's when R-Truth gets on the mic and say, I don't think that's PG.
I don't think that's PG, Kevin.
And I was thinking about this and the reason why consistency and especially during COVID, at the Performance Center, he was having fun there. And that was when I really turned, kind of like a 180 of okay, I've always liked Randy. Right. But I've got more invested in him. I'll get more into that during my 5 count later. But that's the thing with Randy. And now it's with the Riddle stuff, it is a must see on the TV. But yeah, I like the video package. I thought it was good. Just didn't seem like 20 years. That's the crazy thing. Like when you look at Brett, Sean, those guys after 20 years look old. That's the thing. And Randy's looks like he can go for another 20. That's the crazy thing. That is the crazy thing with a lot of, ups and downs in the life, some demons, but conquered them and doing great stuff.
Joe?
When you say 20 years, it's a different era though, because he came in at 21, 22 years old. And you think of 20 years, Miz is at 16.
Wow.
Think about that. In 4 years, we're going to be getting the 20th anniversary of The Miz.
I'm all for that.
I am too, but it's I look at Randy Orton as okay, you can say consistent now. The beginning of his career, a lot more downs than ups because he was injured a lot, and we'll talk about that later. I don't have him in my top 10 of all time.
Okay.
I have him as basically a good worker that you can always put into the main event and brings legitimacy to it. He doesn't need the championship to be considered great. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. There's no arguing on that one. But you're never going to say that Randy Orton is going to be in the same category as guys like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, The Undertaker, Ric Flair, Stone Cold Steve Austin. The Rock was only around for really 6 years?
Right.
And he has a bigger legacy than Randy Orton does. But Orton's more along the lines of someone like Kane, Foley, Edge, guys that are just their constant main event features, and they bring legitimacy to it. And in 4 years, I'll probably be saying the same thing about The Miz.
Well, Randy said on McAfee's show he wants to go another 10.
Wow.
I can see that.
Awesome.
He's only what? He's only like 41, 42 years old?
I think he should be the one to break Ric Flair's record, to beat John Cena's title record, but he doesn't even care. I mean, he said that he does not want to go to Hollywood. He'll go and do auditions because his wife makes him go. But he's never really wanted to be on TV or in the movies and stuff like that. So
he'll go to the papers if he has to.
Is that in your 5 count? Is that a preview?
No, it's in my Kevin list of 10, 20 count. Yeah. It was thought of. So I had to say it. He'll go to the papers if he has to.
Randy Orton is 42. His birthday's on April Fool's Day. So
he's actually 43 then.
No, he just turned 40.
He just turned 42.
I know I meant April Fool.
Oh, I got nice work. 1980 was Randy Orton, and I think he's really the poster child. I'm now thinking, because of this push of Theory. Had to catch myself and not say Austin Theory. He's kind of the poster child of
JR.
Young, start from scratch wrestler to become this main event player for so long. He really did it. And Joe, you're right. He had some inconsistencies. He had some injuries. He talked a little bit about, on the Austin podcast, the demons. He had clearly some drug things going on as well. But yeah, Jay, you said it. He's right there, man. I mean, 14 championships. You think about that, you could pull something together to have him end up breaking Ric Flair's record. And when it comes to things being now, I would be down for a him versus Roman feud. I know he's got the RK Bro thing, but that's a legitimate thing that I can't recall really since Shield versus Evolution. I don't really remember these guys getting together like that.
If we don't get the Roman, Seth, Dean Ambrose triple threat at WrestleMania next year, I'd be okay if it was Roman and Randy in the main event.
In there.
Mm-hmm. What's interesting now with this version of Randy Orton, like you said, he's having fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Will they? Won't they break up RK Bro? I don't know. Yeah. I don't think it should happen anytime soon, but let him just have fun. Let him go work with new young guys and be the Terry Funk of WWE, what Terry Funk was in ECW. I just think that he has my attention now when before he never did, because we're seeing he's doing podcasts and he did The Bump and he did McAfee's show. We're seeing a new side of this guy that, hell, 10 years ago, if he'd have done this, maybe I would have liked him and bought a bunch of shirts. And of course, WWE Shop starting to put his retros back up. So, if there's ever a buy one, get one, maybe I'll get a freebie in there. But yeah, I'm excited to see what's next and whether it's Randy turns on Riddle. I would prefer Riddle to turn on Randy and become the new legend killer and with Randy. So, but we'll have to wait and see what happens.
I would prefer that there be no turn and they just pull the whole New Day type of thing where they're still together, but they're going their separate ways to go singles as well. But they can still always, their tag matches can always come out of nowhere and have an RK Bro reunion or matchup.
I'm with you, Joe. I think that'd be perfect way to go, and we'll see. You can always sow those seeds of dissension down the road, but I think right now it's just riding the wave. And boy, that's another thing, just because he's been mostly singles his career. His hot tag is the best. People go ape shit for it. He comes in, he does that fast power slam, he does the little DDT off the rope thing, he does the pounding of the mat for the RKO. The crowd loves it. That's like my favorite part about the actual matches with him and Riddle, depending on who
his real awkward clotheslines.
Yeah. The clotheslines. Yeah, there's little short clotheslines. Yeah, he's had a hell of a run, man. And like you said, we've all said, it's still going, and it could be for quite a while. So we have a SmackDown still to go. I know it's been taped. I haven't looked at the spoilers.
You haven't?
I haven't either.
I'm just surprised. You're like Joe Spoiler.
Yeah, no, I know. I and it was maybe one of those, like, I kind of saw something, but I didn't really pay much attention to it. But yeah, the WWE is doing a European tour, and so they decided to tape SmackDown, I guess, a week earlier. But so I guess as time of recording, Roman Reigns doesn't have a match at WrestleMania Backlash. We thought initially something would be happening with Nakamura, but that hasn't gone anywhere. And he seems to really just be occupied with the Usos RK Bro unification fund, I'm guessing, I haven't looked this up, but I'm guessing this would be the first pay-per-view or premium live event that he hasn't, as a company employee, I have to say it the right way. He hasn't had a match. He hasn't had a match on one of these since he returned at SummerSlam 2020. I think he's been on every single one. So guys, what do you think if Roman isn't on Mania Backlash? Are you like less interested? Are you okay with that? It's a little, seems kind of out of the box if that's the case. Kev, you want to start?
It kind of stales it, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm pumped for Cody and Seth so much from it. Like, if that match didn't exist, and maybe even Randy and Riddle, there's a lot of good matches. That's the thing. I think my interest is still pretty dang high, but of course the attraction's Roman. You know what I mean? It's a little stinker if he's not on, but I'm still pumped for it. Put it this way. I'm pumped for the follow-up to Mania more this time than I have in recent years.
Well, this past Monday on Raw was more what should have been the Raw after WrestleMania. That show
we're gonna get into that.
so
We said
good.
that.
Mm-hmm.
But Roman slayed the beast at WrestleMania. He deserves a little bit of a break. So I'm okay if he's not on the show. I imagine he'll be involved with the Usos against RK Bro for the unification, which I'm okay if that's the main event.
Yeah, it's maybe trending that way.
Typically the Usos are the opening match, but it could be the main event. And Kevin, it's weird that you say that you think it dulls it, but all those years before, sorry, Brian, I know you're towing the company line, when they were pay-per-views and Brock wasn't on for months as champion, and you never had a problem with that, but Roman misses one.
I'm not saying I have a problem with it. I say it dulls it because I get excited to see Roman.
But it was never a problem when Brock wasn't on for months.
I didn't.
That's my question. I'm not trying to
with Roman not being on. The dude might be sick, right?
You guys got heat.
But Roman is a full-time employee though, with like Bryan. Brock is not.
Brian's doing his internship right now. And he's like, I made a video of Dexter Loomis and The Simpsons. Please watch again.
And I've watched it 3,000 times.
That was part of my resume submission, was sending in that amazing video I did. And that's the thing, at the Brock match, we all kind of thought like, oh, did Roman get hurt for real? Like maybe he's nursing an injury, but I just haven't seen anything confirmed officially on that. And yeah, as long as he's involved in this Usos RK Bro thing, I think that's totally fine. And
has he had any physical contact with anyone in the ring since Mania? So he could be injured.
Yeah. I don't think he has. And so
maybe he has COVID.
He hugged Nakamura.
COVID. Yeah, he did hug Nakamura.
We were all confused by that, but no more than Nakamura was confused the most.
Yeah, I'm all right with it. As long as he's still involved. He's the one who like declared Usos go get me the tag title. So it seems like he's still at least active in that sense. But it's when I really thought about it, it really hasn't happened. It's always
think about it. Like whoever would be against him would just be they wouldn't win. So why have the match?
Yeah, we
Who
all
cares?
thought that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's true. It was a weird. Because we thought we had the setup with Nakamura, right? We're like, oh, that's what they're doing because Boogs is hurt, and now that could be fun, and then it just was forgotten about. So, neither here nor there. Speaking of upcoming shows, though, we talked because the news had come out at last week's Dynamite about the AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door show coming up in June in Chicago. Well, this had made the rounds a little bit. I don't know if we talked about this, and then it was really put to light officially that yes, this was an actual thing, that story in Sports Illustrated that had WWE had its way, the quote unquote forbidden door would have not opened in AEW. Tony Khan was not the only one seeking to get a relationship with New Japan. WWE president and chief revenue officer Nick Khan, no relation, made overtures to New Japan last year, and Sports Illustrated confirmed that they wanted New Japan to be the exclusive partner with WWE, no longer with AEW. And I guess it all started with Danielson's contract, that he was looking for some other ways. He's interested in New Japan, and that's really what got the ball rolling for those talks, trying to come up with these solutions to keep Daniel Bryan into the fold. Tony Khan found out, and I don't know if you guys remember, he cut that like funny promo with
no. Awkward, not funny.
Yeah, that's
awkwardly funny.
Yes, he had the sunglasses on. He called out Nick Khan. He called him a con man in Connecticut, right? Very, very silly. But yeah, could you imagine if this agreement came together? Do you think it'd be a good fit like it is with AEW, where they just seem like they're natural partners? I'll tell you, I don't at all. I can't see it. WWE's just in their own world of thing that I can't even picture, like, Byron Saxton saying, "Oh, Okada, whoa, here he comes." It seems so weird to me.
No,
it feel like work. I do, or what?
It wouldn't work. It'd be fun, but it's the whole wrestling versus sports entertainment thing.
Yeah,
not to be punny, but WWE is its own universe. Yeah. So like, it wouldn't make sense. It would be cool to see Okada and Ospreay and Jay White and some of those talents in WWE, but we just saw with Kushida in NXT, they made him a take your pants off and jacket joke for 6 months. Yeah. And now he's gone. So, like I said, it's more about wrestling versus sports entertainment, and that's why it works with AEW, even though they're still sports entertainment. It's just not as much.
You feel the same, Joe?
Yeah, because I think they have a better connection with the AEW Galaxy and New Japan. Matter of like the bells and whistles are very similar styles of their wrestlers, entertainers versus WWE. It wouldn't work out, and it would. I think it would dull New Japan's presentation, because WWE is on a different level when it comes to their presentation of everything, like the pop and circumstance and the lighting and the fireworks and the show would look. And then you compare that to New Japan and AEW, it looks darker. It looks like more gritty. So I think that AEW and New Japan And even Impact, if there was like 3 doors opening, 3 doors down would be the name of that pay-per-view, would be fine because they all are very similar. But WWE, they don't need to be partnered with anyone else. Let them be.
Yeah, there's a kryptonite joke in there somewhere with your 3 doors down remark. Yeah, Joe.
Such a loser.
Yeah, I can't see it. Like, could you picture, like, think about Cody's tattoo floating graphic thing? Like, I just don't see that happening. Kev, you in agreement here? Or
no, I agree. I just don't think it would work. Maybe the only fun thing that would be is if the WWE did a tour of Asia and they did more, say, like a big Wrestle Kingdom type event with those WWE wrestlers there, but I just don't think it would work.
It would just be NXT Japan.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not their time for WWE and New Japan. It was another 3 Doors Down song. Go ahead.
Nice.
Oh, yes.
I only know the one.
Good job.
Now I got to look up the rest of them and see if I can throw any more.
Q&A
Keep talking. I'm gonna go to Spotify.
Wow.
Going to Spotify, but and another thing too, it's like you look at AEW for almost 3 years. Cody came from the center tunnel, and he was never as big as a pop or star as the one night he returns for WrestleMania with the same entrance.
Yeah.
Give me something with duck and run, landing in London, or changes. Go.
Duck and Run is a new tag team. I think we got James Duck and Steve Run. Duck and Run.
No, I was gonna say WWE was going after New Japan, but New Japan, they just duck and ran.
Yeah.
I did
There would have to be a lot more changes to the main roster names for New Japan to be incorporated.
Yeah.
I just think that they would have to go farther away from the sun to
that's a good
make
one.
this deal happen.
Away from the sun. Yeah. You talk about having a match in Japan and what that would look like. I'd have to look it up because when the Triple H retirement made official, I think I saw somebody posted it on Twitter that his last match was in Japan and he teamed up with Nakamura against whoever it was. I'll have to look that up and see if I can find that. And there's like somebody needs to put up the actual footage of it. It was like a Japan house show that they did, and it ended up being Triple H's last match. So
wasn't it against Corbin?
I don't know.
It might have been.
Triple H's last match in Japan
was
where he teamed with Nakamura to take on Samoa Joe and Bobby Roode.
I wasn't even close.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be fun to see. All right. Let's see. So let's get into Raw. Because I think we're all in agreement. By like halfway into the show, it's like scratching my head, like, what is going on? Like we got Becky Lynch is back. We've got Asuka back. We've got Ali. What the hell? I mean, it was all over the place. It was amazing in that sense of just the show that is so paint by numbers most weeks was like, whoa, my head was spinning.
Main event Ezekiel. I love it.
Ezekiel, the main event with the tassels.
I'm ready to speak with Zeke. I want to speak with Zeke.
Speaking with Zeke, that's right. What did you guys make of the returns? I guess we've got Becky, who's even more obsessive. Asuka, who seemed like she just she could have been on the week before. She's exactly the same. And Ali, who they flat out addressed it. First off, Miz did make me laugh with wait, are you Mufasa? I'm sorry, I laughed at that. But they flat out addressed it like, oh, you took your ball, went home. But yeah, what did it for you guys, man? What did you guys enjoy about these?
As the resident previous Raw hater, I can just basically say that this was like probably the most fun I've watched Raw in a very long time. It felt more like the Raw after Mania than the actual Raw after Mania. And the thing is, they could have just done one return. Exactly. But Becky, we knew was coming.
Yeah, back. They announced was coming.
But Asuka, when you heard that, I'm like, I was happy for 2 reasons. One, been waiting for her to come back, and 2, she's not on SmackDown. keep her away from She Who Shall Not Be Pinned. And then we have Ali. Love that he came back because it wasn't expected. These are the moments that make you think that anything can happen on a Monday night, and they proved it, and they don't have to do it week after week.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jay.
I like this Ezekiel thing. As cheesy as it is, Kevin Owens losing his mind about the lie detector test. Though what was kind of weird was the Randy Orton celebration when Veer, who's supposed to be this badass bad guy, was just hanging at ringside. The Miz, bad guy, hanging at ringside. The week before, when Theory won the U.S. title, it was only the bad guys that came out to celebrate with him. So it was a great episode of Raw. What was not great about Raw was the fucking crowd. Knoxville.
Yeah, I know you had a problem with that.
Just because Kane's the mayor doesn't mean you have to go there 3 times a year. They're not coming to LA for the foreseeable future. Probably not until WrestleMania next year. I mean, come on, man.
That was turd of a crowd. Well, I guess when Cody's standing on the on the middle turnbuckle, and then they do the backstage segment. I forget who
and
it
the
was.
Commercials. Yeah.
And it was like
He was out there for like 15 minutes.
And then you remember it's like, wait, Cody's still in there, and he's going like this to the crowd. It's just like, oh my gosh! But there's like times where it's like, yeah, the crowd was just dead. Like, I mean, like life support type dead. Like 3 people jumping up. It was bad. They need to be demoted to a B town. They need glorified house shows. I remember when Raw used to be top of the top. SmackDown used to get, more of the B's. Now it's like SmackDown crowds are hot. Yeah, that crowd was absolutely terrible.
Well, I'll tell you, Raw was in Detroit the Monday, the week after the day after WrestleMania. And I thought about it. Cody just came back. Like, this is going to be pretty cool. But something about, God, it's a long fucking show. And again, hey, 42 years old, right? But yeah, it's Monday night. It's 3 hours, maybe a dark match afterward. Maybe there's main event matches before. And I'm like, I'm good.
That's 12:30 at night. You're getting home.
You'd have got to see Cody versus Miz.
I know. Yeah.
And the lie detector test.
It would have been a good show. It was a good show. It was, but I like.
And Brian, I don't know if you know this. You don't have to stay the whole time.
Oh, I feel weird about that.
You don't have to go
do.
for dark matches.
Yeah.
Well, no, for the 3 hours, yes. But you don't need to stay for the dark matches. I mean, it's, just something you're going to see on the pay-per-view as they practice.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, but the last time Bryan and I went to a Raw together, the after segment was John Cena's birthday celebration. And seeing Hornswoggle run down the ramp and Great Khali sing Happy Birthday. We had to stay for that.
All the divas jumped on him at once, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm. And CM Punk is the one who led the celebration.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it was after Mania 28. So, and
oh my God,
he was he was a champion at the time. So,
okay. Yeah. Him and Jericho there. Okay.
the last dark match, the last time I stayed for an after Raw was when I had my starring role in Fighting with My Family with the Page movie, because they filmed after Raw at The Rock, and Selena played AJ Lee, and I was in the movie, and it was the last dark match thing I've seen after a Raw. So,
and one little quick point. That was a hell of a, speaking of slap nuts, Jay, that was a hell of a slap by Sonya Deville on Carmella. Whoa. That match was a little bizarre, but that slap afterward. Oh, God damn.
Yeah. Okay. I yelled at the TV.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
That was good. That was really good.
And I think Graves was a little shook because they went from that to the 3-shot of the commentators. And I'm like, he looked shook.
Bride. Yeah. Come on. NXT, just a couple other quick things on that. Roderick Strong has brought in the Viking Raiders. I know that's a favorite of yours, Jay.
Yeah, I love those guys.
So yeah, they'll be taking on the Creed brothers next week at the Spring Break-In show. Another week of new names.
So many.
Who can keep track? We'll try. Casey Catanzaro. She's now Katana Chance. And Jay, you posted they did the backstage interview with her about the name change. Do you want to get into this, or you want me to?
Okay, so it was just the weirdest thing, and when it happened, I literally was like, what? And then WWE tweeted the clip, and I quote tweeted it, and I said, what? It was just like, they were playing these like raver girl gimmicks where they would go to festivals and they'd have glow sticks and shit. And they got the country boys that go to a concert with them. And then she was talking about how she likes to drink whiskey and
shake it.
I don't know, man. I didn't. What? That is my. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Well, I do get it because we talked about it last week. Vince doesn't want people with real names, so a lot of people have had their names changed. This one being, she was most notable for being on American Ninja Warrior.
Yes.
She quit and then came back to NXT, and they put her in this team. The team works because they're like 3 feet tall. The name thing, this one, what?
Yeah, I just the explanation is so like, now you know me as Casey, but there's another girl and her name's Katana who drinks whiskey, and that's me. And I was like, so wait, you're gonna be bringing a bottle of Jack Daniels to the ring next week? Is that because if you're that girl, then what was the
Spring Break-In sponsored by Jack Daniels?
So we got that. We got Kaylee Ray as Alba Fire, and she's got a baseball bat that was on fire. So hopefully she's bringing that to the ring every week. Also, this one, it's been established as a new, because she's new on the roster, but I'm keeping an eye on this one. Her name's Roxanne Perez. She lost to Mandy Rose, and she was the last Ring of Honor champion before they took their sabbatical. If that's the right word for Ring of Honor, but her name there was Roxy. So Roxanne Perez, that totally fits. Love that. She's super cute. She kind of has an AJ Lee vibe to me, and she seems pretty damn talented. So I'm keeping an eye on her. And we also got, because they're doing the like women's breakout tournament, guys. Santino Marella's daughter's in this.
Yeah.
Did you see this? Holy cow. Her name on the show is Ariana Grace, and her real name is Bianca Corelli. But my goodness, Santino done good. Whoa, Mamma Mia. Just saying. So we got that.
So Bryan, you're a WWE employee. Are you allowed to be Brian Christie on this podcast now, or do we need to get you a new name?
Chris Bryanson.
Actually, HR just called. Bryan got accused of sexual harassment. No longer an WWE employee.
That's true. My reign of terror is over in about 30 minutes or whatever that was. I didn't touch on Raw. We had another one. It's just Ciampa now. No more Tommaso.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I'm okay.
And he turned heel.
Yeah, he turned heel. He beat up Ali. So there's a sentence that you wouldn't have expected on like Monday at 7 p.m. of heel Ciampa is going to beat up Ali on Raw. Say what? So then we had Joe Gacy do a show-ending promo. Rick Steiner comes out, says Braun's cleared. He beats up the Druids. I don't know. I'm still not a fan. It's this bizarro world. You got anything for me, Jay? Though
I love Joe Gacy. I love it all. The Rick Steiner part was weird. It really just was. But again, I'm not sure what the connection with the Druids and Joe Gacy.
Yeah, he had his guy Harlan. It was like his big muscle guy.
Haven't seen him in weeks.
He hasn't been around, so I don't know what's happening. I don't know.
Yeah, but Braun coming back and just literally destroying like 15 guys. Yeah, I'm here for it. I'm down.
Oh my god! All right, let's move to AEW. Just two quick things. So, I love what they're doing with Wardlow. Still coming down in the cuffs. Great match with Lance Archer. That's fun.
That Hurricane Rana was awesome by Wardlow. So cool.
Big meaty men slapping meat, as Big E said. And MJF teases that we're getting Big Cass or W Morrissey, as he's called in Impact for next week. So we'll see if that happens. I can't teach that. That's right, Joe. And the main event, Scorpio Sky is now the TNT champion once again. They had the ladder match.
Worst ladder match ever.
Jay has some strong feelings on it.
Oh my God! Yeah.
We'll let you just simmer down.
Simmer down now.
Yeah, simmer down. You wrap it up for us. Joe, why don't you start on the ladder match? How you enjoyed anything with that and anything on AEW?
Well, we'll start with AEW, but you can't start AEW without hearing Cult of Personality for some reason every single week, no matter what. It goes to AEW, like the fuse, like the fire.
Wait, okay.
Look in my eyes.
So they are bringing over that Big Bang Theory crowd. So they got to play music that the Big Bang Theory crowd would know.
Yes, that's true.
Couldn't they just play Bare Naked Lady something? It doesn't matter, but it's and then it's like, oh, he's not having a match. We're gonna see FTR wrestle each other, which was a good match. That was good. I was so into that, and it was like FTR, and they're wearing the Bret Hart tights, even though he's not there and he's not going to be there. I thought that was good, except for like they kept. I felt like Tony was ruining the match when he kept constantly going, what do you think about this, CM Punk? What do you think about this, CM? Hey, everybody, this is a great match going on, but let's talk about Poochie over here. No, I'm really over the oversaturation of CM Punk, but that's my only thing on that one. Next would be, let's go to the main event. I didn't hate the ladder match as much as Jason did. I don't like the fact that the TNT championship is turning into the 24/7 champion, where it's constantly changing like every other week, it seems like. And they keep defending. Shouldn't the TNT champion be on Rampage and the TBS champion be on Dynamite
TBS?
And not the other way around? Yeah, the TBS one. But instead, we got the TBS champion on Rampage, and we got the TNT champion on Dynamite.
They can't put Jade on live TV.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to.
Yep.
Oh, and I'm not really into Britt Baker, Mean Girl. Like, I'm not really into her like constantly trying to do the Tony Storm cake bit and then saying, Ruby Soho, shouldn't you be in catering? It's like, I like her better as the I'm gonna whoop your ass, not the I'm just gonna keep doing insider stuff that only guys like us get.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'm going to give that one some more time. My only thing with the ladder match was the second to last bump was Sammy going off the ladder, landing into the ladder with the quote unquote barbed wire. And he got up like, it seemed like 10 seconds later.
Rope.
Yeah. I was like, wait.
No sell whatsoever.
Yeah. And then the finishing bump was like him just falling to the mat off the ladder. But that was enough for him to stay down. I was like, that's a little puzzling. Kev, and then Jay, you can wrap up.
Yeah. I thought the FTR match was fantastic.
That's fun. That was unique for those guys.
Yeah,
right?
it was awesome. I loved it. That's that's the highest thing I can say. As I really enjoyed that match. The ladder match, didn't dislike it nowhere near as Jay. I'd say the amount of booze that Sammy and Conti get in the makeout sessions are absolutely disgusting, but they're doing a fantastic job getting a lot of heat. I did not like Paige Van Zandt and the constant, where they just punch each other so fast in the middle of the ring. Yeah, I think it happened 3 times. 3 times.
Yeah.
And then they double kicked each other. It was just took away from Scorpio and Sammy. There was some good action in it, but it wasn't anything like we just didn't see with Cody, like weeks or months back. Like it was an okay match. I enjoyed it, but it didn't do anything for me. But I did like it how Scorpio did win. Dude is phenomenal. I've
said Scorpio Sky should have been in the main event picture from day one of AEW.
He was at SCU when we were in Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Frankie and Chris
Daniels.
Yeah, Daniels. But What'd you think, Dave?
Dun, dun, dun.
I love the FTR match. I had a conversation with someone before AEW yesterday, and I wish they would have done like one in pink and black tights and the other one in black and pink tights. Like the main color be the same colors but reversed. Like anyone wearing the same tights. Okay, I get it. Owen Hart, blah blah. The Wardlow stuff was fun. The main event, Paige Van Zant is garbage. Her best asset is her Instagram page. Just keep her out. Let her train for a while before they just start shoehorning her in. And the barbed wire, I think that was made by Jazzwares, the company that makes the AEW toys, because every bump into barbed wire,
Right.
No cuts, no scratches, no blood, no thanks.
Scorpio did sell it a little bit when he landed on the
it doesn't matter
because he went like this at least for a good 2 minutes.
Yeah,
kudos to him. But when the barbed wire doesn't stick to any of your body or your tights, that looks kind of bad.
And I wish I would have thought of this. Bryan sent it to me after our group discussion last night. Sammy dropped the TNT title so quick they called it Pam.
Oh, I know. I saw. Oh, I think Bryan retweeted
I
or
think
something.
I
I was like, oh, I feel so bad. I really want to press like or the heart thingy, and I'm like, oh, I can't. And I'm like, I want to.
Yes,
and then
you
I
can.
think about his ex-fiance in the ring, just so happy, and now I'm like, where is she?
That was such a weird thing.
Living at her mom's or something.
Like that was a weird thing. They did that in the ring. They did that in the ring. The whole thing, happy engagement, and it seemed like it was like 2 months later. He's doing the thing with Conti, and hey, everybody, it's their personal business. Not judging, but it was.
There's an upgrade.
Like, wait, what's just happened?
Massive upgrade,
Kevin. Wow,
massive. Well, yeah, I mean, she's smoking hot. But don't disagree.
And Pam is Pam.
Pam is Pam.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hot can be crazy if you follow the Amber Johnny Depp news.
She took a shit.
This isn't that legal podcast.
Is it bad? Oh man. I'm out of the loop. All right. So let's put a bow on AEW and we talked about it at the intro, really when we got into Randy Orton, 20 years of his career. That brings us to this week's 5 count.
That Wrestling Podcast presents the 5 count.
Top 5 Randy Orton moments. This was fun. Lot of good stuff. And I found just minutes before we recorded that WWE put out a top 20 moments on YouTube, and even there's a couple on there that I pulled, and there wasn't anything really different that I added to mine, but I was like, oh god, I forgot about that. So who would like to go first?
I'll go. I'll go first again. Why not? Number
multiple weeks in a row. Look at you.
I know, right? Number 5 would be the first lines of meeting with Riddle. What planet are you from? Earth. Shut up. That made me crack up. If you remember that. What planet are you from?
Yeah,
Earth. Shut up. And that's when you knew something good was about to happen.
Yeah.
So that was the start of RK Bro. So I'm going to say his number 5 was the beginning of RK Bro, where he's at right now. Number 4 goes back 20 years ago. RNN updates.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I love those because it's like, why do I care about this stupid rookie and his shoulder injury? But then the next was like, it's at 30%. Then the next week, I had a slip and it's at 22. And I'm like, oh no, not 22, not Randy. And I'm like, I don't care. But then I was like, okay, this guy's kind of entertaining. But then when he came back, he wasn't really that guy. He was like put right into Evolution. So it's like, but the RNN updates I thought was showing that, okay, they are invested.
Yeah, those were good, especially because of the weird numbers of percentage.
Yeah, the random
It was not like
percentages.
a 50%. Yeah, it's like I'm 62%. You know,
But then the next week, it's like I slipped at the pool, and now it's down to 34, and I'm like,
yeah,
no,
don't you
no.
worry. Yeah.
Number 3, kissing an unconscious Stephanie
Yeah.
in the ring with Triple H handcuffed. That was sinister. That was definitely the Viper. I got to be quick because Jason, it looks like he's about to do the breaking news comment. Number 2, because 3/4 of us were there, winning Rumble 2009.
Yes, sir.
And number 1, spitting on Foley to kick off the WrestleMania Backlash match. Oh, sorry, just Backlash. It wasn't WrestleMania Backlash then. But spitting on Foley, the start of the Legend Killer, the match that made his career, which he even admits if it wasn't for Mick Foley, he wouldn't be in the position he's in right now. So easy number 1 for me.
Nice shout out to Mick Foley on Raw for sure.
With the 20th pick in the NFL draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers picked Kenny Pickett from the University of Pittsburgh.
That's early.
So bad.
That's early.
Close to home. That's crazy.
Anyway,
the dude from Liberty is probably should have been taken.
Malik Willis.
That was the rumor for a long time.
Guns are massive. That dude has huge arms.
All right, so I'm going to play the role of Kevin. For my 5 count, I actually have 6.
Come on.
Just kidding, Kevin. I have an honorable mention. This isn't a good thing, but it was just that's so Randy at the time. He was booked to be in the Marine sequel and then got booted because of stolen valor. If you don't know, he was a Marine.
Oh, yeah.
He went AWOL and got a dishonorable discharge. And when it was announced that Randy was going to be in the Marines were like, nah, bro, not happening. So it was just because at the time, Randy was just fucking up left and right. And this just added to that mythology of, screw ups. Number 5, there was a time, you know how he drops to his knees and pounds the mat? Well, he did it the one time and he came up, he broke his hand while hitting the mat. I laughed my ass off. I thought that was great. That's my number 5. Number 4, Brooke Hogan needing a mop bucket after looking at Randy in the back parking lot, which then led to Randy giving the RKO to Hulk Hogan on the hood of a car, which then began, I believe, the Legend Killer storyline, or at least continued. Number 3, over the course of COVID and the pandemic and quarantine, I became a fan of NASCAR. So in 2000, Kyle Busch, who is like NASCAR's like bad guy. Everybody hates Kyle Busch, or they really love Kyle Busch. They did a bit where Kyle Busch gave Randy a NASCAR with his face on it. It was a $200,000 car, and it ended up getting destroyed by Kofi Kingston. They threw paint on it. They destroyed it.
I remember that.
I thought that was a lot of fun.
That was fun.
Number 2 for me is the RKO out of nowhere to Seth Rollins at Mania 32. I was there. He was going for the curb stomp, and they flipped it. It was awesome. And then for number 1 is the RNN special reports. There's one specific one. There is one specific one. It was he had bad news. His sling that he was wearing for his shoulder was rubbing a little too hard, and it broke the skin open. And the doctors had to apply antibiotic ointment to then repair and stop the infection. I laughed so hard at that one. I pulled it up today, and I don't know why it stuck with me all these years, but like I was like, yeah, that's it. And then another one from RNN was it wasn't an RNN yet. It was like it was the RNN intro, and they had a different one every week, and it was like, I love women, and they love me, and I'm like, oh, this guy fucking rules. And then every time that the RNN thing would pop up, JR every time, what the hell is this? Like, You know what it is because it happened 4 weeks in a row, JR.
Oh, God.
So yeah, those are my 5 plus the honorable mention. Yeah, my
Did
Randy
they also have
Orton.
a crawl at the bottom too during the RNN
They
updates?
did. I watched 11 minutes of those earlier today.
It's amazing. Kev, do you want to go next or last, buddy?
I'll go next. Number 5. Even though the tag team, I think, did more losing to DX on a very consistent basis than doing anything, something that I wish they would have achieved. But I really enjoyed just everything about Rated RKO. I'm an Edge guy. That was the beginning of me probably, getting more interested into Randy. It was kind of during his dark days too. So much talent. I just feel that DX just had to shine literally every single time when they went against those guys. Kind of similar to Edge. Number 4, I put everything about RK Bro. Everything since those two guys gone together. I know Joe mentioned the first line. There's not a time where those two aren't on the screen or in the ring where we're probably not all smiling or laughing, right? Who would have guessed Randy could have been such a comedic genius with Riddle? So it's fantastic stuff. Number 3, the whole Mick Foley Randy hardcore match. Start off with the spit, just so brutal. And even Randy says that's one of his favorite matches of all time. Mick's so complimentary of it. Loved it 100%. Number 2, I put several on here. I just labeled it the punts, but specifically, specifically August 10th, 2020 is when he did it to Ric Flair. So many back and forth camera shots. And it was just, you saw Rick going off and Randy's just like almost like scared after he did it. And Rick's just laying there. And then a week later, he does it to Shawn. It was just so good. And then number 1, similar with the punts, I have 2 RKOs out of nowhere. The memes were crazy with that. T-shirts, crazy. People doing videos, people jumping in pools, sports stars doing it. The Seth Rollins, of course, and then Evan Bourne with his shooting star press one. I always rank that as one of the coolest. Just Randy's just so quick and just right there at the exact right time. Not really ever a botch on him, which is the fantastic part because, with Bryan, you mentioned with Randy, was it the snap suplex? Not the snap suplex, it's power slam, right?
Yeah, that little quick turn power slam.
Him and Goldust are 2 of the absolute best at that.
Mm-hmm.
But like Randy, I'm just like, dude really doesn't mess up that RKO ever. But the Evan Bourne one is just, it's always, that thing where it's like, something that's imprinted in your head. Whenever I think of just somebody getting it, it's always boom, that Evan Bourne RKO on the receiving end.
Wonder how Vince at this age could take an RKO, better or worse than the stunner. I don't.
Well, he took a punt, remember? from and Cena's dad took one too. Remember that?
I think Stephanie took one, and Linda took one, and
I
think the whole McMahon family.
He had a really nice run during the beginning of the pandemic. In those empty crowd, the Thunderdome was there. He was a really big highlight of that. And that's actually my number 5. He had a promo on Edge this is the days of the empty performance center, no crowd noise. And it was 6 minutes. I rewatched it today. He talked about how, of course, Edge said he had grit. And he talked about my grit is that I've been here for, I didn't take 9 years off like you. I'm here day in, day out. Talked about how, he was handed opportunities, but he's made the most of them, winning all the championships, everything else. Really good. And because it was that era, they would intersperse actual video clips in the promo, which, they don't do now. So that was really cool. I really enjoyed that. That was my number 5. Number 4, Randy burns down the Wyatt compound. February 28th, 2017. You guys, it almost feels like a blur, but Randy was in the Wyatt family. He had won the Royal Rumble, and he talks about this. He shows up on the Tron, and he talks about even though he was part of the group, he never really was in it. Bray's great in this too. He's begging Randy, don't do it, as he's pouring gas on the compound. And a lot of the dialogue isn't all that great, honestly. I was like, oh, this is kind of cringeworthy. But it's all about the fire and doing the fucking pose with the silhouette with the fucking compound on fire. That was great, man. So that's my number 4. My number 3 is your number 1, Kev, the Evan Bourne one. I think that was, for me, that was the birthplace of, out of nowhere, where he can really do this any which way. That's the first one I can remember being such a non-traditional way of doing it. My number 2 was also your number 2, Joe, Rumble, Joe Louis Arena. That was great. And my number 1 was winning the Rumble in the Alamo Dome. I think that's 2017. I was there for that one. I am 2 for 2 of going to Royal Rumbles and Randy Orton winning. So
not bad.
I'm the meal ticket when it comes to that. But that was a fun one. That was a great finish. Him and Roman were the last 2.
Edge returned. That's the one Edge came back at, right?
No. Edge was 2020.
Oh, okay.
Yep. That was right before the pandemic. So, it's Roman and Randy are the last 2. Roman's got Randy in a way. He does the ooh-ah, goes for the spear, and Randy RKO'd the spear and threw him out of the ring. Great finish. So that was my number 1. It was cool to be there live for that one. Great choices, guys. He is well deserving of the honor of 20 years of career remembrance for this week's 5 count.
Who made your 5 count? Let us know on social media using the hashtag TWP5count.
All right, I guess that'll put a bow on this week's show. Thank you for listening. We will be back next week. Make sure, of course, all the socials at That WrestlePod. Jay, I saw the YouTube. We're up to 25 subscribers.
Yeah, it's awesome. Awesome.
What do you get when you're a YouTube creator and you get a plaque? Do you have to have like 100,000?
Yeah, we're a little ways away from that.
Do we get like a paper clip?
maybe at 30 we get a paper clip. I don't know.
A
post-it note with an arrow drawn on it. I don't know, man.
It's a slow climb, brother. It's a slow climb on top.
At this rate, let's see, Joe, math guy, 25 subscribers per year to get 100,000 subscribers.
Okay, well, you got to have 4 years to get to 100. So times that by 10,000. So
40,000 years.
40,000 years it will happen.
Yay!
There's a chance.
Yeah.
That was
Carry
quick
the
math.
one. Okay.
And if you get that, you get the picture of Triple H pointing at you.
Ooh,
that's what you get.
That's the one that you get.
Oh, you mean this one right here? Which you can't see because my camera's too far away?
I can
see it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, goals, baby. Big goals. Looking for
Goals, baby.
All right.
It's the American dream, baby.
As I go into a coughing fit, that'll officially wrap up this week's show. Hey, have a good week, everybody. Enjoy wrestling. We will talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening. Follow That WrestlePod on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube.
1, 2, 3. That's it.